was a time not too many decades ago when high adventure in the great Oregon outdoors meant service, duty, and important responsibility to protect Oregon forests from catastrophic fire. Hi there, I'm Grant McComey, your host for Travel Oregon's Grant's Getaways, and this week we explore a unique chapter of that service and responsibility by coming here to a lookout tower in the Tillamook State Forest, and we learn about the women who manned the towers. They were called the Cloud Girls.
40 feet to the roof.
You must step up to travel back on a visit to the Tillamook Forest Center.
And it's a beautiful coincidence that there are 72 steps and there's 72 million trees were planted across the Tillamook State Forest.
Lisa Gibson says the 4-story fire lookout tower offers a snapshot of life that few people tried after World War II.
You had a lot of canned goods and a lot of dry goods and very little in the way of anything fresh.
Especially for the women who manned 15 towers atop remote and rugged northwest Oregon mountains. They were called the Cloud Girls.
It was a really romantic idea, these young women by themselves out in the forest, out among the clouds and the tops of the trees. And people thought that was really a romantic image.
They were a special breed of the Oregon Department of Forestry who answered a call that few men dared, including one of the first, Eleanor Mitchell.
She's there with her binoculars, and it tells the story about how she got her job in the fire lookout.
Eleanor was prized for her patience and willingness to endure lonely weeks in the woods.
She really enjoyed the job.
I'd be on my own. I would have a salary. I would be independent, and I would meet new people.
Mitchell says her tour began in 1950 and continued for 13 years.
There weren't very many green trees, but you can see a few of them there.
She encouraged and trained more women to join the Cloud Girls, like sister-in-law Barbara Mitchell.
So she recruited you?
Kind of, because I worshipped her and I thought everything she did was perfect.
But life inside a 14 by 14 wooden box was anything but perfect at a time long before internet, cell phones, or cable TV. And yet, they were never lonely. Their lifelines were portable radios to call in twice daily weather conditions that could turn dangerous, risky, and even get you killed when lightning storms swept past.
So the first crack out of the box, there was a lightning storm came up from the south. One of the strikes went down real near the tower, and it was a terrible crashing sound. I couldn't escape to go down the tower and get on the ground. I can't say that I was actually frightened. I don't remember anything like that.
Sometimes all you could see was just the fog, and you're above the fog, and it's cold. Like when I'd be laying in bed, my hair would blow from it coming through the cracks. Right, Eleanor?
Yeah.
Yeah, up at Round Top, that's how it was.
Yeah.
It would be really cold.
Snow, ever?
I had snow in July.
You can get a feel for those conditions today along a state park trail to the top of Saddle Mountain in the Oregon Coast Range, where a lookout tower stood for nearly 60 years.
It's a very steep climb that last half mile, and it's definitely not for anyone who's afraid of heights. It's quite rewarding when you get to the top because you've made the climb, but also you have that spectacular panoramic view.
It was a very important civic responsibility that you had as a fire lookout. Being able to get to that fire quickly was very key. There were not even roads to get to the places where fires could happen, and there wasn't communication that happened very well in between people who could be fighting the fire. Those fire lookouts were really key in providing that information to those field offices so they could get the fire crew ready, they could get in there and attack that fire quickly before it got so big that they couldn't control it anymore.
Eleanor got to know all about big fires in 1951, when the last of 4 major blazes, collectively called the Tillamook Burns, roared to life. It came within a mile of her tower.
I watched it grow as it increased and spread out, roared up the canyon. I was involved a lot with the radio work.
She later learned that while she was on duty, embers from that fire burned holes in the roof of her tower.
It didn't dawn on me to be worried for safety or anything. I guess I think I'm lucky.
Despite the risk, Barbara and Eleanor agree life was simpler back then and their service mattered, and it was the happiest of life experiences.
Was it a pretty special time of your life?
Oh yes, our participation in it grew. We liked the independence. I met lots of wonderful new people, and for several years after I left the lookout, I maintained a correspondence with them.
I mean, there's a lot of guys that have patience, but women have more patience. Right, Eleanor?
While the official tour of duty for the Cloud Girls has long come to an end, their spirit is alive and well at the Tillamook Forest Center, and we have all the details, directions, and the contact information so you can plan your own visit right here on the Travel Oregon website, so be sure to check it out. Until next week, do get out here and explore the great Oregon outdoors, and let Travel Oregon be your guide. For Travel Oregon, I'm Grant McComey.